What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. New video. Sunday morning. Sundays usually there's not a lot of views, but I somebody in the comments on my live mentioned this video. I apologize if I look tired. Didn't get much sleep last night. Coco was on a good one. But anyways, this is Joe Rogan, the Joe Rogan Experience. Every time now, it seems like every time I react to one of his videos, it gets demonetized. We're going to try again. This one is called Joe Rogan Experience number 2152, and it's Terrence Howard. Now, I'm not going to lie. I watched the first couple minutes of it, and let's just get to it.
Joe Rogan Podcast, check it out.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan Podcast by night, all day.
Can we get past that?
How did you get started with all this?
Yeah.
I didn't come into this world the way everybody else does, I don't think. I used to think that everybody had the similar experience, but like if I asked you, what was your first memory in life? What would it be?
I don't think I know.
I don't know, but Terrence Howard was like a regular actor, right? And then Hollywood, as we know now, thanks to a lot of people, Cat Williams, Jaguar Wright, whatever her last name is. There are things, and Ryan Garcia trying to expose stuff too. But anyways, Hollywood does weird things to people, and listen to Terrence Howard, and you're gonna see why I think Joe is the GOAT.
My first memory was almost like when you're dreaming and you're falling and you hit the bottom and you wake up.
Mm-hmm.
That was my first memory, but I didn't wake up here. I was inside my mother's womb. And I was about maybe 6 months inside the womb. And I'm like, okay, don't forget I'm here. Okay. Don't forget. You go to sleep.
Right. He was his first memory is he was a 6-month-old fetus. And Joe didn't laugh. Wow. That's why Joe's the GOAT, right? That's respect. Like, I wouldn't do it like to mean to be disrespectful, but I would be like, what the? I would laugh like he's fucking with me, right? And then be like, oh shit, wait, you serious? Like, fuck, are you sure you're serious? And why is Terrence Howard breathing so hard? Does he have one of those foot treadmills? You know how they have those new treadmills, the little tiny ones for lazy ass people. They don't want to stand up, so they just move their little feet, and they think they're exercising, but their body's not. It's just they're just, I don't know what their knees. Is this dude on a knee treadmill? Let's get back to it.
Wake up again. Now something's moving in front of you. And you're like, oh, that's my friend. But I had a different name for it. I didn't know it.
Well, what was the name? You remember everything.
Was my hand. But I knew I had a title for it. Go back to sleep, all of those things. Then ultimately you get ready to come out. I remember all of that.
You remember coming out?
Remember being compressed, and you want to panic, but you're flooded with like some serotonin and dopamine to where you feel relaxed. You go right back to sleep. You remember being born. I remember being circumcised. I remember the whole nine, and the proof.
TMI, big dog. TMI, and really? Right. Really? The oldest memory that I have, I hit myself in the ankle with a hoe. You know the hoe when you're gardening? I was a little ass kid. I was probably about 4 or 5 years old. I don't know why I remember that, but I remember that shit. And what the fuck was a 4-year-old doing? I was on the landscaping crew already. Chingo, racist motherfuckers. Wherever I was at, I know where I was at. I was on Neal Park Avenue, in front of my grandma's house. I remember I was like 4 or 5, but as a fetus in the womb. Come on now, let's keep it real, Terrence.
Proof of it was when my wife Mira, that you just met, when she was 6 months pregnant with my son Kieran, I wanted to prove to her what I was talking about. So I put a light on her stomach every day at 6 o'clock at night. And I would move that light back and forth, and I'd put a song on.
She was like, oh, fuck, this was a maniac. This fool, the baby thought he was in Star Wars, eh? Fucking lightsaber again. Shit. Well, there's my friend. Never mind.
For a week straight. On Saturday, after a week, I didn't put the light there.
No way.
And I didn't do the music.
Oh, my God.
And he pushed up on her stomach.
At 6 o'clock.
And then
because his clock went off. At 6, say it happened at 6 o'clock. I dare you. Joe still hasn't laughed. Joe. Hey, they need to put the camera on Joe. When this dude's talking, put the camera on Joe. Joe is probably looking at shit like, oh, concentrate. Don't laugh. I'm going to laugh, Joe. That's why you make the big bucks.
When I put the light there, he started following the light. And for the next 2 months, we did this every night, and he would go all the way around her belly, back and forth, always pushing on it. You know, I didn't understand at the time that maybe I've interfered with the development process, and maybe he's wrapped the cord around his neck. I shouldn't have done all of this, but it came out wonderful and fine. And this little boy, first thing he wanted to do is see light. He loved lights from that early stage, and I can ask him the square root of 2, the square root of 5, the square root of that, the square root of pi, and he will run it off. But he's just like, his personality is like Forrest Gump, you know.
Remember that scene? And Forrest Gump, he's like that. Forrest Gump didn't talk when he was a child. Why is he breathing hard like this? I'm tripping on his shirt.
To where he's just loving and wants everybody to be around him and care.
I want to interview this guy. I know I'm not big enough to do it, but he doesn't know that. I think Terrence is nuts at this point. He might think I'm a celebrity. Somebody forward him something. One of my fucking not a Wes Watson one, because don't do that. Forward him one of my videos. He's crazy enough he might believe I'm a celebrity, and then when we have this conversation, oh hell no, I'm gonna be laughing.
But for me, that's where it started, in there. And then when I was about 5 years old, I had another dream, and the room filled up with like this fluid, a dark fluid, and I could see the ripples of it moving around, and there was a being there, and I remember being walked through that fluid with him, and I was trying to look up at him, and I couldn't turn my head to look at him, and he had his hand straight. I knew his voice, but I did not know who it was, but I felt confident and comfortable, and as we moved along this dark blue fluid path with like chartreuse covering.
What the fuck is chartreuse? Oh man, this bottle right here. Who handed this motherfucker a dictionary? A dictionary on colors. Oh man, Holmes. Chartreuse.
You know how when you look into a pool and you see the ripples, and if you're at the bottom of the pool, you see the ripples overlapping. That's what it looked like. And then when we got to the end of it, he said to me, if you could have anything in the world, what would it be? Now, we were really poor. My dad had just gotten out of prison, for manslaughter. I didn't have much, But I said to him, I want to know how everything works.
He's 5 years old, eh? God, this guy was brilliant when he was 5. What happened?
And at that moment, he used his left hand and he opened up the door. And there was this mansion, big brown doors. And inside of it was this crystalline flowers, big crystalline flowers, like a giant, like 5 feet across. And every time I tried to see his face, he would reach in and hand me another shape. And I was so fascinated with the shapes because they didn't look like the platonic solids. They didn't look like anything I'd ever seen before.
Oh, my God.
And he would hand me these shapes, and each shape was different and amazing. And I woke up from that dream. But after that moment, anytime something strange would happen in a dream, I had the powers of inception. Anytime I would be naked at school, I would say, I'm not naked. I must be dreaming. And immediately I would run out of the school or run out of where.
Let's test him. G-Face, can you come in here and test this guy? My bad. I was just looking for the authorities. That's just the name that popped into my head. My bad.
Wherever I was, and I would find that mansion again. And I had access to all the knowledge. The proof of it is the 97 patents that I have now.
Oh my
the proof of it is the industry.
Why the fuck? I'm telling you, he's doing that treadmill that you run on when you're sitting down. Why is he breathing like this?
That I've innovated. It's like waking up, having a dream that you have a diamond in your hand, and out of nowhere, you wake up and you're hoping you're holding it, and you try and hold it, and it's gone when you wake up.
Orale, this is one of those guys. This is one of those guys. I was in fucking prison with a guy like this. I told a story about him. This vato, hey, the most dramatic dude ever. Motherfucker. He would annoy me, man. Shout out to that guy. I hope he's out now. He'd be like, his name was Weasel. I'm going to say his fucking name. I don't remember if I said it in the video. I'm going to say it right now. His name was Weasel. And I would hate to talk to this dude. I would hate to ask him anything. And I'd be like, fuck, man. Hey, Weasel. And he would be like, what's up, homie? Hey, what time is it? It's 10, homie. I'd be like, what the fuck was all that, homeboy? You couldn't just look at your watch and tell me 10? Why did you look? The Hudas are probably thinking we're going to kill somebody the way you just acted. Well, this Terrence, you're reminding me of Weasel. Why so dramatic? And I'm going to ask you guys a question. Hold on. I'm going to ask you the question as soon as he lifts his arm up again.
But the proof is all the stuff that I've been able to do now.
Yeah.
So all these thoughts.
Look at Joe. Joe doesn't even want to make eye contact. Joe is like, if we make eye contact, I might have to fucking jujitsu this motherfucker right here.
Are from the time you were a baby. These are not things that you've learned. These are things that you had in your mind from the time you were born.
From before that time, because I remembered that I had been someplace else before.
Oh my God.
Now what's interesting,
Boom. Oh no, I can't do it yet. Hold
that
on.
voice that I heard, that's
Oh, never
my
mind. I answered my own question. Never mind, you guys.
voice now. So it was like my greater self was leading me through and periodically would show up again in other dreams. And I went off and became an actor because my mother wanted my little brother to be an actor. And I thought if I became an actor, I would get my mother's affection. It wasn't until my mother was dying and I'm talking to her. And she told me the reason that she was babying Antonio was because he had asthma. And my father always questioned whether it was his son or not because he looked so much like her.
Dear Lord, he's spilling the tea, you guys. Family drama. He had asthma. So let's make him a movie star. And then here comes Terrence. Well, I have asthma too. I saw it when I was a fetus, but I corrected it. This is wild right here. See, that's the thing. Joe Rogan is cool as fuck, the podcast, right? But I think you have to be stoned to watch this shit. Like this, right? No. Never mind. Take that back. Don't anybody blaze up. You might not make it back. I say that a lot. This one I'm serious about. I'm telling you.
Her family and didn't look so much like him. And I realized, my God, if I had followed my proper course, I could have saved my mother, because the knowledge that I had, I had the grand unified field equation. I had already put that together. And at 7, 8, I was working with these things, and then I went through all of the hell that I had to go through. Being accused of domestic violence, all of those things. And I thought it was a curse at the time, but it was really removing me from advancing down the wrong path. And during that period of time, I started waking up in my dreams again. And I started going back into...
I had forgot all about that. Now I remember you were accused of whooping some woman's ass. So that turned out to be a good thing. I'm pretty sure she would beg to differ. I might be wrong, but I doubt it.
To that palace, and I remembered all
It's
of
a
these
mansion, now it's a palace? Oh man, don't do this. Right when I was starting to believe the story.
things, and I started patenting them. As I moved along, I got in touch with Michael Hudak. He was the president of the University of Science and Philosophy, because I was studying a guy named John Keeley, who had worked with frequency back in the 1870s, had built the first what do they call it, self-sustaining engine back in 1872, but he wouldn't tell people how he built it. And I was watching a program with Del Pons, and somebody in the audience said, doesn't John Keeley's work remind you a lot of Walter Russell? And a bell went
off in his head. Well, I'm going to tell you what. A bell did not go off in my head. What went off in my head was I was reading the wrong shit in prison. I don't know who he's talking about, and I don't know if I believe him. Is he in the fetus library, or where the fuck is he reading these books? I need clarification, because you're all over the place. Crazy, man.
Went on. And so I got in touch with the University of Science and Philosophy after watching some stuff about Walter Russell, and Michael Hudak, took me under his wing and started talking to me. But he was more into the philosophy and the love that Walter was talking about. But my intention...
I could hear it already. I'm thinking about, like I said, I'm tired, you guys. I'm trying to pay attention. This is wild. But there's going to be I guarantee, there's going to be some Karens in the comments. Oh, of course you don't understand. You're a convict. And you didn't probably go to jail. And man, I made some fucking horrible decisions. But you don't know either. So fucking, what's your excuse, Karen? I'm just preemptively attacking back.
Was to rebuild the periodic table, build a new periodic table, because the stuff I had learned in college, I went to school for chemical engineering the first year over at Pratt, and at the time, I think it was like 108 elements, and I told the teacher, the professor, about the relationship between hydrogen on the spectrometer and carbon and silicon and cobalt. And I was like, it's the same exact color, same tone, just doubled in each octave. And he was like, no, each element is the same element and it will always be that element. And I was like, you don't see the relationship. So I left school and I was going to spend 40 years.
You showed them shit. You really showed them. It's hard out here for a pimp. I just had to say that. Like, look at him, and I've never even seen that fucking movie, but I heard that. Yeah, wasn't he rapping on it? So he left a career as an engineer. Was it chemical engineer? What do they make? Probably a lot of shit, huh? Can they make him shut up?
years rebuilding the periodic
Just
table, and I
plain.
found out that Walter Russell had already did that.
Wow, fucking Walter.
And he did it based upon the natural curvature of everything.
And when you say rebuild the periodic table, what do you mean specifically?
Well, the way the periodic table is laid out, the periodic table they have now,
Let's see.
it
the
looks
periodic
it looks
table.
like a
Pull up
box.
an image of it.
It looks like a straight box.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't show the relationship that between every element, there's two no.
All right, here's the periodic table.
Oh, hold up. You shouldn't have interrupted him, Joe. This bottle was lost. Okay, hold on. You let him out the fucking. Hold on.
You'll see hydrogen sitting all the way over there by itself, but they don't show that hydrogen has the same tone as carbon.
What do you mean by tone?
Same tone, same key of E. Same key of E. 40.5 hertz. The next one would be like 81 hertz. You go to silicone, it will double up and would be 162 hertz. You'll go to cobalt, and it'll be 324 hertz. It's, in that base, if you were to.
This is crazy. I didn't get a lot of sleep. It's 7:42 in the morning. I want to fucking go to sleep right now. I see this shit on TikTok, man. Listen to this tone and it will reduce. Man, you fuck around and listen to the tone and fucking go out and unalive. Why are the people saying that nowadays? Unalive. Fuck around and unalive somebody. Don't listen to the tones. I don't know. I just feel like I shouldn't because nobody ever taught me that.
Take the angles of incidence
damn.
Or the tones that they create. Their color. Like you can turn color back into sound based upon it's the same wavelength, it's just twice as long or much longer. So all you have to do is keep dividing light by 2.
Keep that up, Jamie.
You keep dividing light by 2, and you'll ultimately get back to the audible sound of it, because there was a relationship between light and color, sound and tone, matter and shape. I put
wow. Look, I don't believe there's such a thing as somebody being dumb, right? I don't. I believe that there are people that may be lacking understanding in certain areas, but then in other areas they excel as far as their understanding of shit. But I feel pretty dumb right now. I'm gonna keep it real, and I know I'm not dumb, but I have no idea. This guy, there's some fucking dude right now banging away on his fucking phone. This fucking Mexican doesn't know shit. That's why he was in prison. Damn, Holmes, you gotta fucking be racist about it. I remember real quick, shout out to Mr. Huffschmid. That was my science teacher. Why I shouted him out, I don't know, because in our science class, there was the classroom, and then there was 2 big bookshelves, and there was a desk behind those 2. Yeah, he sat me on that desk behind the bookshelf. Fucker, that's why you're bald-headed, Mr. Huffschmid.
I sent over Walter Russell's.
I was trying to get to that. That's what.
Yeah, it's Walter Russell's periodic table that he put together. Now you compare that to what Mendeleev's periodic table. You'll compare Walter Russell's to it, and you'll see something completely different. It's unwinding.
Whoa.
It's unwinding.
Hey, Joe cracks me when he's always with the woes.
And you see there's a relationship that hydrogen.
So you had figured this out at a young age?
I had already seen this. This was all inside of that palace. I had access to it. And
calm down, Aladdin. Hey, so what? So if they just draw it this way, what happens? They all still do the same thing, right? You just, I don't know what the fuck we're watching, you guys. I'm pretty sure half of you guys fell asleep, and because I'm working, my fucking ass has to power through this shit. Damn, do we skip it? Holy shit! I didn't realize Joe talked to him for 3 hours. Joe took a month off after this one, guaranteed. Joe was like, "I te watcho." I need an island in the sun. And please make sure Terrence Howard is not there. This is crazy. I'm not doing no more. I'm at 12 minutes even. What tone does that make, fo? Oh, I said fo like it's fucking Vietnamese soup. I gotta go to sleep, man. I gotta go to sleep. Anyways, man, that's the video for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I really, at this point, don't know if I did. I just, hey, anybody having a rough day and you're having insomnia or something, watch the full length of this or just watch this reaction, because I swear to God, I'm gonna climb in bed right now. Anyways, that's my video for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Everybody, please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them. I'm out of here.